Once upon a time, high between the mountains, there was a small village called Stonehill. The village had little houses made of mud and wood. It had goats, farms, dusty paths, and one cold river far below the hill. Every family needed water from that river, but the river was far, and the path was hard. It had sharp stones, tall grass, and a long climb back to the village. In that village lived a poor boy named Arin. He was only 14 years old. His clothes were old, his shoes were torn, his hands were rough from work, but his heart was soft. Every morning, before the sun touched the roofs, Arin took 2 empty clay pots, walked down to the river, filled them with water, and carried them back on his small shoulders. At first, Arin carried water only for his sick mother. But soon, one old woman called him and said, "Arin, bring water for me too." Then a farmer called him. Then a rich family called him. Then almost every house called his name. "Arin, my pot is empty. Arin, my goats need water. Arin, bring water before noon." Arin never said no. He walked to the river again and again. His feet hurt, his back hurt, and sometimes his hands shook from the heavy pots. But he still smiled. The people liked him when they needed water. They praised him when their pots were full. But when food was served, nobody said, "Arin, sit with us." When bread was baked, nobody saved one piece for him. They remembered his hands, but not his hunger. Every night, Arin came home tired. His mother would look at his tired face and say, "My son, kindness is beautiful, but even a kind heart needs rest." Arin would smile and say, "Mother, they need me." But deep inside, something hurt. He saw rich children drinking cool water from the pots he carried. He saw farmers washing their faces with the water he brought. He saw old men sitting under trees and saying, "That boy is useful." Useful. That word stayed in his heart. Not loved, not respected, not important, just useful. One day, Arin carried water to the richest house in the village. The table was full of hot food, fresh bread, rice, milk, fruit. The rich man's son looked at Arin and said, "Leave the pot outside. Servants do not sit here." Arin did not answer. He placed the pot down and walked away quietly. That night, Arin could not sleep. He looked at his hands. They were small, but they had carried the village for years. He thought about every road he had walked, every heavy pot, every empty stomach, and every door that closed after taking his water. The next morning, the village woke up and called his name. Arin, boy, water. But Arin did not come. His house was empty. His mother had gone with him. The village people waited. The sun rose higher. The pots stayed empty. The goats cried. The children asked for water. The farmers could not mix soil for their fields. The rich houses had clean cups, but nothing to pour inside them. At first, the people became angry. "Where is that boy?" they shouted. "How dare he leave?" But by evening, anger became fear. For the first time, they had to walk down the mountain themselves. If this story is touching your heart, please like this video. Subscribe to English Story Academy for more motivational English learning stories. The path to the river was harder than they remembered. The old men slipped on stones. The farmers became tired before reaching halfway. The rich man's son carried one pot and complained after 10 steps. Women looked at the steep hill and whispered, "Arin walked this road every day?" When they reached the river, they filled their pots. But climbing back was worse. Water spilled. Pots broke. People sat on rocks, breathing hard. By the time they returned, the sun was almost gone. One old woman began to cry. She said, "We drank his strength every day and never gave him even one meal." The village became silent. That night, every house had a little water, but no one felt proud. Their full pots felt heavy with shame. 3 days later, a traveler came from the nearby valley village. He said, "There is a boy named Arin helping us now. He carries water, but we pay him with food, coins, and respect. He eats with us. We call him by his name. The people of Stonehill lowered their eyes. The village leader, the rich man, the farmers, and the old women all walked to the valley. They found Arin near a clean well, laughing with children. He looked different. Not rich, not proud, but peaceful. His mother sat nearby eating warm bread. The village leader stepped forward and said, "Arin, please come back. Our village needs you." Arin looked at them for a long moment. Then he said softly, "You did not need me. You needed my water." The words hit them harder than the mountain path. The rich man lowered his head and said, "We were wrong." The old woman cried and said, "You were a child, but we treated you like a tool." Arin's eyes became wet, but he did not return as the same boy. He came back to Stonehill only for one reason. He gathered every family near the river path and said, "I will not carry water for every house anymore. I will teach every house how to carry its own water." Some people felt ashamed. Some felt surprised. But Arin began teaching them. He showed them how to tie pots safely, how to walk the path, how to share turns, and how to build a simple water cart. Soon, every family helped. The old helped the young, the rich helped the poor. And Arin finally went to school in the morning instead of carrying everyone's burden. From that day, the village learned one lesson: do not be available all the time. Your absence will teach people what your presence never could. If this story touched your heart, like this video and share it with someone who needs to know their value. Subscribe to English Story Academy, where every story makes you stronger, wiser, and better in English. Moral of the story: do not be so available that people forget your value. Sometimes your absence teaches respect better than your presence ever could.